You got your all right. Welcome everyone to another live stream. Today we're going to be talking a little more about workflows in some key ways. And normally I have one guest with me, so today we have two. Super excited to have both Deepak and Kalpesh with us. We'll start with Kalpesh. Kalpesh, just great to have you here. Obviously, a customer of DevRevs, and you're here to learn more about workflows, just like me. Is that right?
Yes, excited to learn from Deepak.
Awesome. And then, of course, we've got Deepak. Deepak, yeah, good to see you here.
Yep. Hey, hi, Ahmed. Thanks
All
for
right.
having me.
Absolutely. So let's get straight into it. So, Deepak, I know you wanted to share something about workflows, and I think what's really interesting is that as you pull it up, we've been introducing more and more sort of nodes and different types of functionality to our workflow system. Obviously, it's been working at scale since the beginning, but is there a specific use case or a couple of use cases that you're going to walk us through? Maybe you can start there.
Yeah. So there is a particular interesting use case that I want to walk everyone through. But yeah, you rightly pointed out we are bringing a couple of new nodes every, with we say it as our skill builder. Okay.
Yeah.
So when we say our workflows as a skill builder, these are essentially what our agents also use. Okay. So yes, we are bringing some exciting nodes, some very building very exciting workflows with our clients, with working with our customers. So yeah, I just had a particular use case that I wanted to talk about today, and maybe yeah, we'll yeah. Just hey moderator, can you just put the screen?
Okay, so you're going to be pulling up what looks like a workflow builder. Okay, great. Walk us
Yeah,
through what you're
it
looking
looks
at.
like a microbuilder. Yeah. I'll just start with introducing on what we are trying to do. So one, it's just a very a use case that every other customer of our have it, in a sprint you might have certain circumstances when an enhancement is getting marked as critical. Okay. And while the analogy of enhancement is epic, when an epic is getting marked as critical, so when it's getting marked as critical, you want to update all the ticket owners or the issue owners that okay, now this issue is in a very critical state, and can you please update the target close that for it so that we can update the customer. So this is the particular use case that we are trying to look today.
Okay, so I mean, we're talking about let's just say a typical uh, product development, project management type scenario where, let's just say, and the terminology could be different from company to company, but um,
Yeah.
if you're looking at a particular theme or a particular initiative, project, whatever, what have you, and you want to make sure that there's some sort of hierarchy. So within this initiative, there's a series of work that's happening, and if
Yes.
the initiative is, let's just say, critical or at risk, you want to take some action across a whole
Yep.
body of child items. We want to
Yeah.
kind of walk through how you do that in an easy way. Now, of course, there's so many different ways to do that. You could try to search for all the child items, but here you're gonna hopefully show us a pretty simple way to do it.
Yeah, natively, what you would have done is you would have searched for all those child items, you would have got all those owners and asked to update the TCD. While here, what we are going to do is we are going to, send them a Slack DM and ask them to update the TCD. So yeah, that's what we are going to do.
All right, let's have a
And
look.
yeah, yeah. So I think the very good part is that we sit on the top of the data layer. Okay. So essentially, DevRev workflows sit on the top of all of your data. Okay. So it just becomes a bit easier to do all of this. So let me just start with a yeah. So I think we are firstly choosing the trigger. Okay. So you have chosen a trigger that okay, whenever my enhancement gets updated, and I add a tag of critical. Okay. So you're saying, okay, fields to watch is, my tag. I want to catch when a tag is getting updated. And then I want to filter out for only the enhancement when the enhancement is in development stage. Maybe enhancement could be completed, maybe enhancement could be in the tried state. I want to only check the enhancement that is in in development stage. And this is one of the beauty here of DevRev workflows, that you can add filters to your trigger. Okay, essentially. Traditionally, how we used to do it is, put a webhook here and catch all the updates from that webhook. But the interesting part here at DevRev is that now you can apply filters at the source. You only need enhancements which are in development. You'll only get tags update of the enhancements which are in development. So this essentially reduces all the noise that you have. So out of the 1,000 changes that an enhancement might be going through, and the meaningful are only 20 for you. So you essentially only get 20 here in the runs. So that's one of the beautiful thing about the trigger filters here.
Yeah, and I think I'll add that this is way easier for our system. You all obviously mentioned computer memory, but the way we're able to natively observe uh, changes that are happening because of our change data capture, and the way we're intercepting those changes and actually allowing for these observations to be made, we're able to aggregate all the different consumer behaviors that are active across all the
Yeah.
workflows, and we're able to actually do this at scale in a way that, obviously, I'm sure there's other workflow systems that people have used. They wouldn't necessarily scale the same way. First of all, before we proceed, Kalpesh, I know in your space you probably do things like this. I mean, do you guys have workflows, or maybe there's humans that are maybe doing some of this behavior where if there is an enhancement that is at risk, you need to go and talk to people or send a note to people who are perhaps relating their work to this enhancement or this initiative? I mean, I'm sure you have project management tasks that look very similar or sound similar to this.
Yeah, yeah. So even we were trying to do something similar to this last week itself,
Okay.
and I connected with someone in the DevRev team to get this implemented. I'm hoping something similar to this would go live as well for our workspace sometime this week. So maybe we can cover that next time.
Okay, that'll be awesome. So yeah, continue, please, Deepak.
Yeah. So once you're done with the filters, every you have removed all the noises from your filters. You're strictly only watching the meaningful runs here. Now we move ahead. And the second thing is, once you have those enhancements, now since I'll repeat that again, you're sitting on top of your data layer, so you don't need to go here and there, and you can just directly loop over all the issues. So loop is something you want to loop over. The functionality that we provide is you can loop over all your native objects, you can loop over issues, opportunities, tickets, and even if you have other line items from random, say you have a HTTP output and there is a line item that you would want to loop over, you can loop over it. So the good part is, again, while you are looping it here and applying filters to the enhancement that was getting updated, we only want issues for that enhancement. So we have updated that part here over the issue, and that's it. We are good to go with all the issues for those enhancements.
I want to mention,
And
I want to mention, Deepak, that uh, looping capabilities. Of course, there's ways to approximate this behavior with other, node actions, but this is something that's been asked for quite a while. And so, of course, the fact that we now have this looping over issues or looping over
yeah.
really any entity is a wonderful feature. And I suspect there's a lot of existing customers that have workflows that are going to get a lot simpler because of this. So it's an often requested feature that I'm glad we were able to show off today. So yeah, keep
Yeah.
going. But I'm excited to let people know that this is definitely
One thing I would want to add here, Amit, is you can if someone from sales persona is building out a workflow, they can loop out just the opportunities that they want to do. So for every persona, be it opportunities, issues, support people are trying to work on tickets. So we have all those native objects. You have different loop nodes. It's not that you need to go ahead, do some configuration again in your endpoints or something. So that's what we have natively provided in our workflow canvas.
yeah, love it.
So Deepak,
Yeah.
also just this loop over this thing node that is there. Does it have any limitation? Let's say if I happen to add a filter on the first node, which takes 20,000 issues, for example, will this run for 20,000 times, or there is a limit that we have put?
So yeah, there is a limit that you can put, but I think the good question, there is a limit obviously to it, but how you can overpower it, the first thing that you said is adding filters. Okay. So these essentially are all the filters that you want to put in. Okay. I'm not concerned about an issue or ticket that was created 2 years ago, 1.5 years ago. I'm just, concerned about the ticket that was created the last month. So you can just, let's say, create a date. You can, get your date sorted. Okay, I just want anything that has been put up after the 1st May. Okay, and before, let's say, today. Okay, and then you can say yes, I want to select the range. So yes, you can filter it out, but yes, there is a limit of 100. In a single iteration, you can do it only 100 per one. 100.
Let's also take that follow up on Discord as well. So and folks, for those of you listening, like please join us on our Discord server. It's a great opportunity to keep this conversation going. So maybe we'll see Deepak and Kalpesh kind of sort that out on Discord. I mean, 100 seems like a pretty low limit for now. I think it's because it's a relatively new node, but I think over time
Yeah.
we're gonna have to expand that. But yeah, let's keep going with this.
Yeah. Cool. So I think once you are looping over issue, now the next thing that you want to do is you want to update an issue. So directly, you can just choose a node which says, yes, update my issue, and you just choose your ID. Okay. And this is just, I'm going to show how do you choose variables from the upstream nodes. I'll just clear it out for the audience once. And once I came here, I want to add an ID to the issue. I would just click on insert variable, and I'll just get the ID here for the issue object. Okay. So this is how you can choose all the variables from the upstream nodes. And then I've added a tag here. Maybe if there are multiple tags that you want to put, you can add multiple tags that, okay, for this issue, since the enhancement has been marked critical, I want to add the tag of critical. And then there are a couple of things that you can do. You want to play with the body, or you want to play with the subtype. You want to, update any of the custom fields here for those issues. So this is one other thing that, update issue for your org. If you have, you might have multiple custom fields. Those all custom fields are provided to you here so that you can update. It's just not about those stock fields. It's also about those custom fields that you get here, and you can update them.
Yeah, and Deepak, I'll add because customization is a big part of this. A lot of our customers, they'll actually bidirectionally sync with whatever system they may be using for typical product development or project management. And what we allow them to do is not only have this near real-time bidirectional sync capability, but what we'll also, on top of that, provide is the ability for them to customize the schema on top of which their logic is built. So they could have custom attributes, custom fields with field dependencies therein that are actually live within DevRev. And those don't necessarily have to go reflect back into their source of truth. So you can be doing whatever you're doing in Jira and have a bunch of customization on top of that schema. And so we respect that schema coming into DevRev. You can actually augment that schema with custom content in DevRev and not have that reflect back in whatever system you're coming from, which is the nice part about it, is that you can actually coexist while having additional capabilities here in DevRev, which you can then build automations on top of.
Yeah, exactly. So I think cool. Now we have updated our issue. We have updated the critical tag on our issue. Now we want the issue owner to know that your issue has been marked critical, and we just want to ask them that how can you update the like we want to ask them to update the target close rate. So here's the thing. This is a very interesting thing. Where is an HTTP node? Now here for this HTTP node, what we are trying to do is we just put in the URL for the Slack. We are just posting a message on the Slack. Just the basic HTTP node that you would see everywhere, putting in URL, headers, authentication type, and then we are putting a body message for the Slack. One very interesting thing here is that we have a transform thing that now you are able to whenever you are making any HTTP call and you're getting a response. We have noticed that customers say that, okay, the response coming in is quite huge. We are facing some memory issues. There are 50 fields that are coming in, and we only need one of those fields from those response. So this is very interesting thing that you can add a sample response, and for that sample response, you can just say that, okay, I just want to, I just out of these two fields, I just want channel here. Okay, I don't want all the fields. I am just, you can filter out all the fields from the response, and I just want channel. I don't want any other field. So this is something very, very interesting that we have built it here. Because natively, traditionally, we have seen so many people face the memory issues here. So to seamlessly have your workflow running, you can now only have the most required fields in your workflow, the fields that you're going to use, and we'll parse them in the downstream nodes. So this is something about the HTTP node. But yeah, here for our particular use case, we are not using that. We are just using a Slack endpoint, and we are putting a message on the channel for the Slack.
Now, tell me about the Slack endpoint. Now, whose Slack identity is being used here to send these notifications?
So here, the authentication token that is being used is from my account. Okay. So it's just, for once you have to add it, and then these token, get saved in your orgs or in your identity here. So it's just that for once you will have to connect for the very first time, you'll have to give the Slack permission for the app, and then you can use it.
Okay,
So it's essentially the users, if I had to answer it in very short.
Got it. So basically, since you're creating this workflow, this is a workflow that you're running sort of to augment or maybe automate some of the behaviors that otherwise you would have had to manually undertake. And so what you're doing here in this workflow is you're saying, listen, instead of me manually Slack messaging everybody, I'm just going to have, my Slack robot, kind of automator do it for me.
Yeah.
Okay. Outstanding. Now, if we just want to take a break, because I know, Kalpesh, you've been using a lot of N8N Razorpay. And of course, you guys are looking to transition most, if not all of that over to DevRev, just to keep things simple. Maybe Deepak, do you know what this would look like if we wanted to do the same exact thing at the same exact scale in N8N? Just real quick. I know we don't have time to show it all because you have other things you want to show us today. But what would that look like? How many more clicks? How much more time?
So it's essentially a bit, maybe Kalpesh would be the better way to answer it. But yeah, what I have worked with on building workflows with N8N is now, like here, we were just looping over the issues directly, right? Firstly, in N8N, you will have to, I suspect that you will have to, get all your issues through your endpoint. And once you get all your issues through your endpoint, then you will be applying loop over all those line items. So it essentially becomes a bit trickier there.
Got it. Okay, so it's not natively, it doesn't natively understand like the way computer memory does. Kalpesh, what do you want to add to that? Is that right?
Yeah, I totally back what Deepak said. So in this scenario, what I would have to do on N8N is I would have to call an HTTP node for DevRev, get all the issues, run a check on N8N, then again call Slack. So I'll have be talking to two different other platforms that are there. But in this case, everything is running in DevRev itself, and it's just calling Slack to send out those messages. So it makes a lot more simpler.
Yeah. So
Outstanding.
essentially, what? Sorry, Ahmed, you're going.
No. Go ahead.
Yeah. So essentially, what separates, if you think a bit more broadly, what essentially separates us from a workflow builder like N8N is that we essentially sit right on the top of your data layer. Okay. So any AI action that you would want to take. So let's say I'll just take a bit of example. That okay, I want to ask AI. Okay, whether this issue is critical or not. Let's a very hypothetical scenario.
By the way, we're not seeing your screen right now.
Oh, just give me a moment.
It's coming up. Go ahead.
Yeah, cool. So what I was trying to say is that how essentially we are a bit different from the different workflow builders, like you mentioned, N8N one, of course. So how essentially are we different is we sit on the top of your data. Okay, we have access to your knowledge. We have access to every issue that's going on, every sprint that's going on in your CRM, every opportunity that is being created, any update to the opportunity, any meeting being conducted, those meeting notes. So essentially, we have access to everything. We have access to all the data layers. And while you're building workflows, I just wanted to show it once here. So the very interesting and the very good part is that we have AI actions now. Okay, you can take AI actions within your workflow. So let's say you saw the issue, okay, and now you are like, okay, I want to know whether this issue is critical or not.
Yeah.
Okay. So here you can directly, just write a prompt. It's essentially a chat completion within the workflow builder. So
Yeah.
all the AI actions, if I even try some analytical query, you can ask question, how many issues, how many issues are marked in critical state, something of sort of that, while you are looping over issues. So it can count that essentially. Okay. So
Yeah.
what I'm trying to say is that you can access your data layer from within the workflow, and you don't have to natively again give access to it, which is a bit trickier in the other workflow builders.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. I mean,
probably you will have to call Claude or something like that, or a Gemini, and then summarize it. This is happening within the workflow itself.
yeah.
Within the workflows. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think if we really wanted to build on the example, what you could have done is, as you're looping over or updating issues, or maybe before you call Slack, you could maybe, use an Ask AI node to categorically make some assumptions around, what you want to say or how critical this action is, and maybe even have that filter into the message that you send over Slack as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a lot of ways to mix and match these things, but it's really nice to be able to, uh, again, to begin with, loop over issues natively, because you understand the relationship between the issues and perhaps the enhancement or the initiative or the project, what have you. And then, of course, being able to take uh, prompt level actions, if you will, AI level, LLM level actions directly on any aspect of the workflow. What else do we have here?
So one just extending the Ask AI note that I was trying to introduce, that AI actions within your workflow. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Just one very uh, small but very powerful workflow. Okay,
Yeah.
that we have here is, once a ticket is getting created from your customer, your customers may be complaining about something, that okay, my payment is still pending. It still shows in pending state. It has been 24 hours. So something, any customer query that is coming in now. Teams, generally there are different teams that you want to route. Not every query is going to be complaint. Sometime it might be a feature request, or sometime it might be a bug. So how do you essentially identify it and route to the correct team? Okay.
Yeah.
Now that is where the I would say the power of AI actions within the DevRev workflows come in. Okay.
Yeah.
So now it's just a simple Ask AI node where we have written a prompt. You are a ticket classification expert, and so sort of this, and then we have given the classification rules to it. So now what this does is essentially your customer query directly gets routed to, okay, it gets a tag, okay, it's a bug, it's a feature request, it's a complaint. So the first level of filtering that humans used to do, and the human support agent is not essentially always sure whether it's a bug, it's a feature request, or it's a complaint. Okay. But here, while you are doing this AI action very deterministically tells you whether it's a bug, feature request, and complaint, and then it helps you to route it to the correct team.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, I'm just thinking about it because you have this sort of deep relationship with what's in memory, or what's really available, and that's driving behaviors inside the enterprise, whether it's just L1, L2 support, or customer success, or opportunity management, project management. If you start to add it all up, the number of workflows that could be running concurrently at the same time could be huge, right? Because if you're looking at every new ticket, even if you're filtering, if you're looking at every new ticket that's coming from a specific region or a specific brand or specific channel, and you're trying to take an action on it, categorize, that's going to be a lot of concurrent workflows. I know we're running thousands and thousands of workflows at the same time for the same customers. How do you think that gives us an advantage? I mean, Deepak, do you know where we are with that? I know we have an advantage, but how do you characterize it?
I would want to give an example here with a customer that we are working. Okay.
Yeah.
So for every 5 minutes of interval, we are handling 26,000 of their workflow invocations.
Mhm.
Okay. So if you boil it down per second, that comes out to be 100 invocations per second. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's happening day in, day out with us. And the very great part is that we haven't had faced any reliability issues or any latency issues, because what happens in other workflow builders is that if you have so many invocations concurrently, then you tend to have latency issues. Tickets are getting created after 10 minutes, 15 minutes. But those are the sort of things that we have, right from day one. The platform has been so reliable for that customer that, okay, per second, 100 workflow invocations, and bang on everything, zero latency issues is what we have seen.
And that's
So
not a
yes,
compounder of any type. That's just what they're doing right now. They could obviously do way more than that as well.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what I'll add to that is I think given how this is getting easier and easier, I mean, effectively we're approximating what used to be done by developers. We're approximating that in an increasingly no code mechanism here, right? So like the ability to loop, take conditional actions, take arbitrary actions with AI nodes. We're effectively giving people the opportunity to do very complex instructions handling with computers, thanks to these workflow builders, thanks to these agent builder capabilities, skill builder capabilities. So what's going to happen is that we're going to democratize the ability to create instruction sets for computers. And what you don't want to do is sort of democratize it and at the exact same time also create a problem where you're bottlenecking the whole system by introducing these
Yeah.
complex workflows. So it's really important that not only that you allow for these systems to get easier and easier to use, and then democratize, put everybody in control of what kind of behaviors they want to automate, but also you want to make sure on the other side that you can handle the scale. Otherwise, what's going to happen is you're going to have hundreds, if not thousands, of people inside your business building these automations, and suddenly they're stepping on each other's toes because suddenly there's just so many automations happening at the same time that it's bottlenecking the system. So it's really important to have a system that's not having those kind of concerns. I mean, I don't know if Kalpesh, you're having to stay vigilant about those types of things, but it is a lot better if you don't have to think about it, right? Obviously.
True.
Yeah. Deepak, what else? I mean, I want to be conscious of time. We typically try to keep these at 30 minutes, but we have a few minutes. Is there anything else you want to show us?
Yeah, I just want to talk about the different things that we are trying, different exciting things that are coming up
Okay.
in workflows. So we are trying to, bring the code node essentially that will solve anything that you want. You want to call an external API. You want to do some data transformation. You want to do some computational work, or whatever that you want to do. So we are bringing in a code node, and one interesting thing that we are bringing up is the merge node. So essentially, we have seen quite a lot of people struggling on different workflows, builders that do not have a merge node. Okay, there are three scenarios in which I would want my ticket to get updated. These are the three triggers. So these are the three triggers, and I'm unable to merge my actions. Every time I have to write 10 different actions for all the three triggers. So essentially, that is very interesting thing that we are coming up with is the merge node and the code node, and that will open up the floor for our agents taking action, while, because essentially these are skills for our agent. We call it skill builder. So yes, that will open up the floor for our agents to do multiple things at once, and make your job easier at work, and yeah, work like a true AI teammate.
Yeah, and I think what I'll add to that, Deepak, I appreciate those two node types seem incredibly useful. What's really interesting is the ability to not only create these skills, but also to like upskill an agent or to create a net new agent. Either way, when you upskill an agent and you're able to deploy that agent not to the entire organization, but perhaps only for your specific team or maybe only for your specific self, the ability to actually ration where those skills get deployed actually makes it that much easier for people to have the courage to actually make these changes, because a lot of times the reason people are not automating things is because they don't want to disrupt the behaviors outside their team or outside their immediate organization. And so what they do is say, you know what, I can't risk having this thing impact the rest of business process. I'm just going to do it myself, because at least at that point I have the utmost control over how this actually gets scaled out. And I think, Kalpesh, the ability to say, you know what, create the skill, deploy the skill, but only for my team or only for this group, that is the most natural way to really kind of unlock the potential with every human, right? the potential for the human to scale out their behaviors, their process, their savvy through automation, but only within a scope that they feel comfortable with. So how do you feel about that? I mean, the new nodes, the ability to deploy it not just for the entire company, but for a specific department, for a specific function, for a specific team. Like, are these things that are exciting for you guys?
Yeah, quite exciting. Like that's our main purpose. Like with AI coming in with this all workflows and everything, we want to maximize on this and see how we can reduce the human intervention that is required and get a better output with our day-to-day activities and how we can reduce all of the human efforts, right? So yeah, very excited on what even Deepak showed us today.
Outstanding. So obviously, we appreciate you joining us, Kalpesh. And like, it'd be really great if maybe down the line, as we sort of migrate over from N8N over to DevRev, we're able to maybe show a glimpse of what the before and after looks like, or perhaps Deepak, we can look at what the scale looks like for Razorpay as they brought in. Obviously, it's a huge opportunity, a huge operation. So that'll be really exciting. And Deepak, maybe we can have you back here when some of these new node types are available, and we can see what the before and after looks like in terms of just simplifying our own workflows as well.
Yeah, sure. We can do that.
Yeah.
Outstanding. Any final thoughts,
Yeah.
Deepak, from your side?
No, exciting times ahead with DevRev workflows. That's it.
Outstanding. All right. Well, I like this configuration, Kalpesh. It's a pleasure to have you here. And yeah, we'll see you guys next time. Take care, everybody. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.
Bye.